So if you've ever bought or sold a home, you got a lot of questions, and that is totally normal because it doesn't matter if it's your first home or your 20th home, everything changes.
Just like in life, everything changes. So what you needed as a first-time home buyer is going to be different on your 5th home now that your family has grown. It changes every day, new experiences, and that is what we love about what we do.
Exactly. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to tackle some of the questions that we get all of the time that we think will help you, and share some of our experiences that we think are kind of fun. Some are, but we always turn it to fun.
And people always think their experience is completely unique or completely hard, and I always tell them, you have no idea the things we've seen.
So here we go. Is there such thing as a perfect time to buy or sell a home? What do you think, Inez?
I think not. I think that just like life, that doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop. Life changes. Things that we go through, they happen all year long.
All year long.
All year long.
I think there's definitely influences. Like you'll see different time, like different quarters that, maybe it's a little stronger quarter. Like the spring is the best time to sell. Not necessarily. It's just there might be more homes on the market, more inventory. But when you need a home, you got to get a home. And when you need to sell, you got to sell a house.
And there's life things that happen, unfortunately, good and bad. Promotions, relocations, marriages, babies, divorce, all those things do happen all year long. I remember one of my first years as a real estate agent, I was so excited because it was the summertime, like that May, and I was going to be slammed. I just knew it was going to be, I just wouldn't be able to handle, I was going to be so busy. Not so much. And then October came, October through December, I sold more than I had sold January through September. And I was like, what in the world? And that's when I learned my lesson, right? That it's not necessarily a seasonal thing. It just happens all the time.
And much to that same point, like the last 2 years, September was my highest closing month ever. You would think for sure it would be like May or June because that's what everybody else's is, but that's not always the point.
And we were just saying, right? So Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, we've done it all, and that's just how it goes. It's okay.
Yes. Really fun the year that I was like, kids, wait a second, I'll be right back. Don't open that one. I'm going to write a contract really quick. Then you can have Christmas.
Just know we could write. That's how we have to do it.
Now, there are some things that just happen in the world that like the market just stops. And we just had one of those, and that was our last 4th quarter. And there were a lot of things happening in the world, not just rates. People were freaked out that, rates kept creeping up. But then we also had that little election.
Yeah, just the tiny ones. Tiny what? Tiny. It's just, what happens, right? Your lifestyle and what happens in your world is very much affected by what's going on in the world. And so I think people get afraid, or just the uncertainty of things. Usually the bad isn't what happens. It's the uncertainty. That's the uncertainty that people struggle to move forward with.
It's true. And it's not who you want to win or who wins or whatever. It does. It just stops. People wait until January, February just to make sure, like, is everything the same? Yeah. And that's exactly what we're seeing now, because we're well into the 1st quarter, about to round it off heading into the 2nd quarter. And the market is definitely waking up.
Yep.
Yes, which is wonderful. I think what's different, don't you? Like last year, I think it was more the people that had to.
Yes.
There really wasn't any, I want a bigger house, or gosh, I don't need all this space, I'm going to downsize. It's really the people that had to move out of town or move out of town.
And move into town, or right, they had something going on. So it does kind of affect the entire process, because when you're moving because you want to upgrade or you want something better, there's more of a openness to things.
Right.
And then when you're moving because your job relocated or you have to move,
right,
you're less eager or excited to give in or to like at certain things. So it does change the market in terms of how fast homes go or how many buyers are out there, but there's no such thing as stopped.
Yes, exactly. And now I think people have realized, like, hey, rates, we probably would see 4% again, or under 6 maybe.
If I could do a PSA, it would be that time of year was great. We all took advantage of it. It was amazing. But it is a once in a lifetime, and we cannot set our expectations to this once in a lifetime event.
And I think that's what's happened. So, I know the calls that I'm getting right now, it's all the people that maybe I talked to before last year that are now like, I gotta move, and I really want to move and make those changes. They're not holding out for a better rate or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I've had a lot of calls lately of people that I spoke to that I thought, well, I won't hear from them for a while. Now they're like, hey, we're running. All right, let's go. Yeah, so that does happen. Yeah.
So back to that question at hand, like, is there a perfect time to buy or sell?
I think the perfect time to buy and sell is the time in which the buyer and the seller have the most opportunity to, if you're selling, when is the best time for your family to be able to put your house in the best position, right? So when is the best time that you can make sure the house is show ready, that you are able and ready to pack all the things, get all your things going, right? And from the buyer, when is the best time that you are not feeling that stress and that pressure? Because selling and buying is a stressful time, right? And so if you can control the time that you do it, it's the time that makes the most sense for your family. If you try to do it on top of all the other stressors, it's going to make that process just so much harder and just not as fun as it should be.
Right. And I think if you're talking about the breakout of the year and what we see when people are most likely to buy or sell, that second quarter, like anytime, I feel like I've said this for years, it's like our counties north of Atlanta, they go on spring break in April. And they're thinking like, gosh, I'd really like to move or get into that other school district. I'll say Truman because that's my son is graduating.
Right.
So, maybe we make that move now. So we'll start to see people put more their houses on the market really in April.
Yes.
That's a great time. That's when we're going to see the most
Well, because you're doing, right, you put it on and then for closing and for everything, in a perfect world, you move right as the kids end school. If you're moving from up north, your time frame is pushed back 1 month because they don't end until the end of June. So still our summertime for us here is that April to August is really when the most folks are moving, because if you have kids, high school is your king, and being able to get your kids settled before school starts is number one preference.
Yes.
So the best time is to take advantage of when you're not as many buyers out there, so that's when your house can go like that. That's the best time.
I think we beat that one to death. If you didn't get something out of it, I'm so sorry.
Right.
But hopefully you did, because I think we did good on that one. Okay, perfect. Thank you all.